Okay, so we want to make our rig scalable as well. So I want to load in, well, real quick, let's just show you why our rig currently isn't scalable. If I scale up, I don't have stretchy arms. Again, that's currently something I don't have for this rig, and I'm not going to implement via the way we did here because we do run into an issue with the wrist. So we'll need to revisit how that gets built for the arms. But we do have stretchy for the legs. But if you scale up, you can see here it really breaks everything. So I'm going to undo that. And also, just to show you here real quick, I fixed the scale for my eyebrows because previously I just had my eyebrows parent constrained to the head, which you can see here that they don't get scaled up or down. You can see I'm kind of like levitating there, right? So to fix the eyebrows real quick before we go to the stretchy legs, that's a really easy fix. So they're parent constrained to this head, so they just move this head joint. So I'm going to also scale constrain them. So we're going to go up here to constrain, scale. Make sure we go in and make sure maintain offsets on and apply that. We'll do that for both. So head joint, then the geometry of the eyebrow, skin, no, not skin, constrain, scale. Just make sure maintain offset is turned on. And that way, whenever we go to scale our rig, the eyebrows do move with it. So let's fix this issue with the legs and the stretchy. So if you did do stretchy arms, this is how you fix it. But I just want to let you know that the stretchy arms, the way that we would do normally in this course, is not super successful. So I want to figure out another way to do stretchy arms. Anyway, so let's take a look at how we can fix our stretchy legs for the scale. So first off, we're going to go into our buddy, the good old node editor. I'm going to clear out what's currently loaded in with this button right here. Looks like a square with some fresh and diamond buttons there. Cool. I'm going to load in those distance nodes. So I'm going to click one of them. Let's do it with the left leg first. And I'm going to say input and output connections. And what we're looking for is this original multiply divide node that we inputted. That we made connections to rather. So this is from that dimension shape that's that is the distance, right? That's determining the distance between those two locators. Going into this multiply divide node, essentially what we need to do is say, hey, this input 2 needs to be scalable. So whenever I scale up, so currently by default our scale of our rig is set to 1, but when I scale that rig up to 5, this number also needs to be multiplied by 5. So we need to make that connection. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to first load in the main control of our rig. So this main circle at the bottom. I'm going to select it and add it to the node, which is this button right here. We don't need the shape, we just need the main control. I'm going to hit 3 to expand this out. And what we're looking for is scale X. We need to make another multiply divide node. And I'm going to name this something like L scale or leg scale compensate. That way I know what this node's doing. I always like to name things because, as you can see, things get a little complex in the node editor. So this is going to be our scale X is going to go into input 1. Let me pull up my attribute editor. There we go. And what we need to do is go up here to our multiply divide node and be like, hey, input 2, this was the number that we saved out when our leg was maximized and straightened out. We pulled it down, remember, and made the joints straight. That was what this number was. So I'm going to copy that, making sure I'm very specifically copying with my cursor hover, then going over here to this new compensate node, this new scale multiply divide node, and under input 2, pasting that in, and then hitting enter. So we're saving that number because now what we want to do is open up the outputs. Output X is now going to go into input 2 of our original multiply divide node. So I'm going to go output X, not our input 1X, but input 1Y. Oh, I'm so sorry. Not input 1Y. Derp. Input 2X. There we go. Brain malfunctioned for half a second. So now when I select this node, this number, and I need to break this other one. If you ever make accidental connections, you can always highlight that line and delete on your keyboard. There we go. So input 2X is now being driven by this scale compensate, which is based off of that original number where we straightened out the leg. However, it's going to be leave this operation to multiply, it's going to be multiplied by the input 1, which is the scale x of our main control. So if I minimize the node editor, and I go to scale our rig up, we fixed the leg. We need to do it for our other leg. So let's go through that process just real quick because it's not too bad. So I'm going to clear the graph editor. I like to do it in loading this distance node. We're looking for this multiply divide node. So I'm going to hit 3 there and just go ahead and open up the inputs. I'll go ahead and load in or add to the graph again, we don't need the control shape. We just need this main control so that we can get down to those scales. And I need to add in a new multiply divide node. I'll go ahead and name this R underscore leg underscore. I like that. I think we called it scale underscore compensate. Okay. I like to stay consistent where I can. So again, main control, scale x is going to be input 1x. Input 2 for this node, input 2x, is going to be from our original multiply divide node for that stretchy leg, which was 6.352. This is set to multiply. So the output of this is going to be whatever the scale x of our main control is. So currently 1 times input 1, 2. So we really no longer need this here for input 2x on our multiply divide node. What we need to do is connect output x to input 2x. So it replaces that number. Whoops, I didn't make that connection. Let's try that again. There we go. So now, when I go to scale up my rig, all of that scale is being compensated for, and our rig is scaling up properly. Again, if you did this stretchy for your arms, you would have to go through and do the exact same thing for your arms with that multiply divide node connected to your main control. But again, I'm not going to do arms for good old Gene Eric here. I am going to leave him be with just regular old arms, and I'm going to rethink of how we're going to do that for the course. Thank you.